Imagine becoming just 1% better. Not someday, not when life feels easy, but every single day. Not when you're inspired or when things are going well, but even on the tough days when most people quit. That's where real transformation begins. Improvement is not a sudden event or a lucky breakthrough. It's a slow and quiet evolution. It's found in the small choices you make every day. Waking up early, finishing what you started, choosing focus over distraction, choosing growth over comfort. If you're not actively working to become better, you're slowly choosing to stay the same. And in a world that never stops moving, staying the same is falling behind. So ask yourself honestly, are you building your future or wasting it? Are you growing into your full potential or playing small to stay comfortable? Today we're going to break down 10 powerful lessons that can help you improve yourself every single day. These aren't just motivational quotes. They are real tools for growth, discipline, and progress. No matter who you are or where you're starting from, this is your chance to take control, because the best investment you will ever make is in yourself, and it starts now. Let's begin. 1. Win the morning, win the day. Your morning is not just the start of the day, it's the blueprint for how the rest of your day will unfold. The first hour after you wake up holds more power than you realize. If you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, scroll through social media, check messages, or dive into other people's lives, you're already giving away your focus. Your mind becomes reactive, not intentional. Instead, start your morning on your own terms. Wake up a little earlier. Even 30 minutes can make a difference. Use that time to center yourself. Drink water. Move your body to awaken your energy. Read something uplifting or listen to something that feeds your mind. Write down what you want to achieve today, not just tasks, but the mindset you want to carry. Ask yourself, who do I need to be today? These small rituals done daily build mental clarity, emotional control, and inner strength. You'll notice that you stop rushing and start flowing. You make decisions more calmly. You stop reacting to life and begin responding with intention. When you win the morning, you create momentum, and momentum builds confidence. And that confidence pushes you through the difficult hours later in the day. The truth is, your future is shaped in your mornings, in the quiet, ordinary moments that most people waste. So don't let your mornings slip away. Design them, protect them, master them. Because when you control your morning, you silently train your mind to take control of everything else. 2. Learn something new daily. If you want to grow, you must feed your mind every single day. Growth isn't something that happens all at once. It happens through the small, consistent things you expose yourself to. The people who become truly wise and powerful are not always the most talented. They are the most curious. They don't go a day without learning something new. It doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes or 50. What matters is the habit. Read a chapter from a book. Watch a meaningful documentary. Listen to an audiobook or a podcast while you walk or clean. Reflect on a mistake you made yesterday and ask yourself what it taught you. Even conversations with wise people can be lessons if you truly listen. The key is to make learning a lifestyle, not a chore, because your brain is like a muscle. If you don't stretch it, it stiffens. If you don't challenge it, it weakens. But if you nourish it daily with knowledge, insight, and awareness, it sharpens. And that sharpness changes how you see the world, how you solve problems, how you lead, and how you live. Learning doesn't just make you smarter, it makes you more valuable to yourself and to others. So stop waiting for school, for someone to teach you, or for the right time. You carry a library in your pocket. You have access to more knowledge than any generation before you. Use it. Feed your mind every day and you'll never stay the same. 3. Master one small habit at a time. The path to personal transformation is not paved by big decisions. It's built by small, consistent habits done quietly and repeatedly. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to change everything at once. They make a long list of goals, start strong, and then burn out within days. But true self-mastery comes from narrowing your focus. Choose just one small habit, something simple but meaningful, and make it your mission to do it daily. It might be waking up at the same time, writing down your goals, meditating for 5 minutes, or cutting out a harmful snack. Don't underestimate how powerful that one habit can become when repeated with discipline. The magic is not in how hard it is, it's in how often you do it. You are not just building a habit, you are building a new identity. And once that habit becomes part of who you are, it opens the door to more growth. That's how progress works. You earn trust with yourself through consistency. You build momentum, and that momentum fuels change. One habit leads to another, and before you know it, your entire lifestyle has transformed, not by force, but by intention. So forget the pressure to change everything overnight. Choose one habit that aligns with the person you want to become, master it, and then, step by step, build a life that version of you deserves. 4. Reflect every night without excuses. One of the most powerful habits you can build is nightly self-reflection, not once a week, not when you're in crisis, but every single night, without excuse, without distraction, without lies. Before the day ends, sit down with your thoughts and replay the day in your mind like a movie. Ask yourself, what did I do today that moved me closer to the person I want to become? What did I waste time on? Where did I let my emotions control me? Where did I show strength when I could have folded? This isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. And awareness is the foundation of all change. Most people drift through life without ever truly examining their own actions. They repeat the same mistakes, fall into the same habits, and wonder why nothing changes. But the truth is, change begins the moment you stop lying to yourself. That's why reflection is uncomfortable, because it forces you to see your excuses. It shows you the gaps between your intentions and your behavior. It exposes the promises you broke to yourself, and it makes you face your own patterns. And yet, that's exactly why it's necessary. Because once you're honest about your flaws, you can finally fix them. You can catch the moments when you wasted hours on distractions. You can see how often fear held you back. You can notice the thoughts that triggered your anger, the places where laziness disguised itself as rest, and the decisions you made just to feel safe. But self-reflection is not just about criticism. It's also where you discover your strength. It's where you recognize the tiny wins that no one else saw. The moment you resisted temptation, the time you got up when you didn't feel like it, the effort you made even when no one applauded. These quiet victories matter, and reflecting on them builds self-respect. Keep a notebook by your bed. Write down what you're proud of. Write down what needs work. Even a few sentences a night will change the way you think. Because once you become aware of your patterns, they lose their power over you. You begin to live on purpose. You start responding to life instead of reacting to it. And you'll notice something else too. The more you reflect, the more accountable you become. And the more accountable you become, the more you grow. And with that growth comes clarity. The kind of clarity that helps you see through fake friendships, wasted routines, and shallow distractions. Reflection turns your mind into a compass. It shows you not just where you are, but where you're headed if you keep going like this. Without it, you become lost in loops. But with it, even your worst days become fuel. The truth is, people who reflect evolve faster. They make better decisions because they're not guessing. They're aware. They handle pressure better because they've already faced their thoughts the night before. They don't repeat yesterday's mistakes because they actually learn from them. And while the world may see only their outer growth, The real transformation is happening in silence, when they look themselves in the eye every night and choose to rise again. 5. Cut one toxic thing out of your life. Every day you're either feeding your peace or feeding your poison. There is no middle ground. And most people suffer not because of the world, but because of what they continue to tolerate in silence. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. We suffer because we cling to people, to habits, to thoughts, to the past. But the truth is, not everything you carry was meant to go with you into your future. Some things were only meant to teach you, not follow you. And yet we keep holding on to fake friends, to bad habits, to versions of ourselves that we've outgrown because it's familiar, because it feels safe, because it's what we've always done. But growth begins the moment you have the courage to say, "This no longer serves me." Every toxic pattern in your life drains a piece of your power. It might not scream, it might not explode, but it erodes you slowly, quietly. The sarcastic friend who constantly belittles you, the endless scrolling that numbs your purpose, the habit of self-blame every time something goes wrong, the constant replay of a conversation that ended years ago. These things don't just take your time, they take your strength, your clarity, your inner alignment. Buddhists speak of the mind like a cup. When it's full of dirty water, fear, resentment, jealousy, regret, you cannot pour anything new into it. To fill it with peace, you must first empty it. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's seeing clearly that not everything deserves a place in your energy field. It's realizing that some people were lessons in disguise, not lifelines. It's understanding that the past can't hurt you anymore unless you keep breathing life into it. So start small. Remove one thing today. Maybe it's saying no to something you always said yes to out of guilt. Maybe it's spending one less hour on the app that makes you hate your life. Maybe it's finally deleting the number of someone who only calls when they need something. This is not cruelty. This is self-respect. Buddhism reminds us that peace isn't about what you add, it's about what you remove. Enlightenment isn't about becoming more. It's about becoming less attached, less reactive, less entangled in things that don't reflect who you really are. Cut one toxic thing out of your life each day, and you will begin to notice something sacred. Your mind will grow quieter, your decisions will feel cleaner, and your spirit will feel lighter. You'll walk differently, speak differently, think differently, and others will notice, not because you became louder, but because you became clearer. This is how spiritual power works, not through noise, but through alignment. And every time you let go of what is not you, you make more room for what is. That is true transformation. That is the beginning of peace. 6. Protect your energy, like it's currency. Your energy is sacred. It shapes your thoughts, influences your emotions, and determines how you show up in the world. It fuels your ability to focus, create, respond, and lead. And unlike time, which passes regardless, energy is something you must actively manage. Most people don't lose control of their lives because of a single catastrophic event. They lose it piece by piece, through small, unnoticed leaks in their energy field. They give too much attention to things that don't matter. They listen to gossip, engage in arguments, scroll mindlessly through noise, and surround themselves with people who drain instead of uplift. And slowly they begin to feel heavy, confused, and uninspired. Buddhism teaches us to protect the mind like we protect the body, with vigilance and care. Just as you wouldn't eat spoiled food, you must not feed your mind spoiled thoughts, spoiled conversations, or spoiled influences. Every interaction leaves an imprint. Every word you allow into your space either supports your inner peace or steals from it. You must become a guardian of your focus, because whatever has your focus controls your life. If you constantly allow the outside world to dictate your attention, you will always live in reaction. And if you always react, you will never create. Energy is your internal currency. Spend it with intention. Don't invest in people who only contact you when they need something. Don't argue with those committed to misunderstanding you. Don't chase closure from people who've already shown they don't respect your boundaries. You don't owe explanations to anyone who drains your peace. Detachment is not indifference. It's clarity. It's recognizing that not every battle is worth your spirit. Not every voice deserves to enter your temple. Your peace is not passive. It is power under control. True inner strength is found in stillness. The kind of stillness that comes from knowing you are not moved by everything around you. Create space in your life that allows you to breathe. Protect your mornings. Guard your silence. Choose your influences the way a warrior chooses their weapon, with wisdom and precision. Surround yourself with people whose energy speaks peace without noise. Read words that calm your nervous system. Create environments that reflect your highest self, not your past self. Understand that healing doesn't just mean fixing what's broken. It also means preserving what's whole. If you want to grow mentally and spiritually, you must clean your inner atmosphere. Cut off the conversations that bring chaos, remove digital clutter, unfollow accounts that make you feel less than. Let go of relationships built on obligation rather than alignment. Every day ask yourself, is this bringing me closer to peace or further away from it? Protecting your energy is an act of self-respect. It is the foundation of mastery. Without protected energy, discipline becomes difficult, focus becomes fragmented, and your purpose fades into noise. Buddhism teaches that when the mind is still, wisdom speaks, but your mind cannot be still if it's overfed by the world's noise. So filter what you consume. Filter what you allow. Remember that emotional chaos often comes from energetic carelessness. The more intentional you become, the clearer your path becomes, and the clearer your path, the fewer detours you take into regret, distraction, and emotional exhaustion. The person you are becoming is shaped by the energy you protect today. So guard your light, guard your time, guard your peace. Because once you lose your energy, you lose your clarity. And when clarity is gone, confusion becomes your default state. The strongest people are not the loudest. They are the most aligned. Their energy speaks before they do. Let yours do the same. 7. Do one thing that scares you. The life you want is waiting for you just beyond your fear. Not beyond your comfort, not beyond your intelligence, but beyond that internal resistance that makes your hands hesitate, your voice tremble, and your heart race. Growth doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins when you're afraid, but choose to act anyway. Most people live in self-built prisons made of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of change, fear of failure. But the truth is, fear is not there to stop you. It's there to test you. It's a mirror that shows you where your limits are, and more importantly, where they need to be broken. Buddhism teaches us that all fear stems from clinging to identity, to safety, to how things are. But to evolve, you must let go. You must release the idea that everything should be under control. Life is unpredictable, so the only way to rise is to train your mind to walk through discomfort without flinching. You don't need to fight fear, you need to move with it. Fear doesn't get smaller by waiting, it shrinks every time you face it. Each time you take action, even with trembling hands, you reclaim power that fear tried to steal. And that power compounds. One small act of courage builds another. You speak up in a meeting. You set a boundary. You take a leap. You apply for something you're not qualified for. And you discover that fear was nothing but a shadow on the wall. You start becoming the kind of person who walks forward when others freeze. And that identity shift changes everything. The Stoics believe that voluntary discomfort strengthens the soul, that by stepping into what's hard on purpose, we make ourselves immune to the chaos of the world. Whether it's taking a cold shower, embracing silence, or confronting your deepest emotional wounds, doing hard things on purpose builds spiritual muscle. The more often you do the things that scare you, the more your nervous system adapts. The anxiety fades, the self-doubt weakens, and clarity takes its place. You realize fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you are exactly where you need to be, right at the edge of your old self, standing on the threshold of a higher one. This is where confidence is born, not from comfort, but from confrontation. From looking fear in the face and saying, "I'm still going." Fear doesn't vanish all at once, but every time you move through it, it loses its grip. You begin to respect yourself, not because you succeeded, but because you dared. Every day, choose one thing that makes your heart race, one challenge you've been avoiding, one action that feels slightly beyond your current self. It could be saying what you mean, admitting you're wrong, forgiving someone who hurt you, or starting something new without knowing how it will end. You don't need to jump off a cliff. You just need to take one brave step. The more you practice this, the more unshakable you become. People will notice your energy shift. You'll walk differently, speak differently, and you'll start drawing opportunities that match your new frequency. Buddhism teaches that courage is not the absence of fear. It is awareness without resistance. You still feel the fear, but you no longer obey it. You sit with it, you breathe through it, and you act anyway. That's the beginning of freedom. Because once fear no longer has power over your decisions, nothing outside of you can stop your evolution. You'll stop living a life based on avoidance and start living one rooted in truth, in clarity, in bold, unapologetic growth. Don't wait to feel brave. Bravery is built through exposure, not through waiting. And the longer you wait, the heavier the fear becomes. Face it now. Step into it now. Prove to yourself that you will not be ruled by the voice of hesitation. Do the thing. Take the step, even if it's small, because every step forward in fear is a step deeper into who you were always meant to become. 8. Stop negotiating with yourself. Discipline dies in negotiation. Every time you argue with yourself about whether or not to do what you said you would do, you chip away at your identity. You weaken your trust in your own word. The truth is, most people don't lose control because of outside circumstances. They lose it because they talk themselves out of their own greatness. You set the alarm and then debate whether to get up. You plan your workout and then scroll for motivation. You write a goal and then rationalize every reason why now isn't the right time. But here's the truth. The version of you that has the life you want doesn't have time to negotiate. That version has already decided, already committed, already moved. You will never build a powerful life if your mind is a courtroom and every action is put on trial. You must stop giving yourself the option to retreat. Buddhism teaches us that peace comes from inner alignment, when your thoughts, words, and actions flow in harmony. When you constantly hesitate, postpone, or break your own word, you create inner conflict. You know what to do, but you keep choosing comfort. And comfort, while seductive, is the slowest form of destruction. It tells you you're safe while quietly making you weak. That's why the strongest people don't entertain emotions in moments of decision. They don't ask how they feel. They follow through on what they committed to, not because it's easy, but because it's who they are. Discipline, at its core, is self-respect in action. It's doing the hard thing without needing motivation. It's showing up even when the mood is gone. It's choosing long-term strength over short-term relief. And the more you practice it, the quieter your inner excuses become. Your brain is a survival machine. It will always try to talk you into comfort, safety, laziness. It will beg you to hit snooze, to eat what's easy, to skip what's difficult. But if you let your feelings dictate your choices, you'll only rise as far as your emotions allow. And emotions are unreliable. Some days they push you, other days they betray you. That's why you must build your life on discipline, not on moods, not on motivation, but on a clear, non-negotiable standard. Decide who you want to be. Create a structure that reflects that version, and then remove the option of negotiation. You don't need to think, you just need to execute. The Stoics believe that the disciplined man is the free man, not because he follows rules, but because he is no longer enslaved by impulses. Every time you act with discipline, you take back control from your lower self. The version of you that wants ease, distraction, and temporary pleasure becomes weaker. And your higher self, the one that sees the long game, becomes stronger. Set a rule and follow it like it's law. Wake up when you say you will. Train when you don't feel like it. Create even when you doubt your work. Stick to your path even when no one's watching. Over time, you will stop needing to push yourself. You will simply become someone who doesn't break their own code, and that identity is unshakable. Buddhism reminds us that suffering comes from inner contradiction. When the mind says one thing, the body does another, and the heart is left in confusion. But when you remove the internal debate, you create alignment. That alignment becomes your foundation. You begin to live with clarity, move with purpose, and act with power, and the world starts to bend around that level of certainty. So if you're tired of starting over, stop negotiating. If you're tired of inconsistency, stop asking for permission from your emotions. Be the kind of person who does what needs to be done. No questions, no drama, no delay. Not someday, not when it's convenient. Now you don't owe the world your feelings. You owe yourself your discipline. Say less, execute more, and make your word a command that your actions obey without resistance. 9. Surround yourself with growth, not comfort. You are not just shaped by your thoughts. You are shaped by your surroundings. Who you spend time with, what you listen to, what you tolerate. These things define your direction. You can have all the discipline in the world, but if you're constantly surrounded by people who settle, people who complain, people who fear change, you will slowly start shrinking to match their pace. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is like a flame. It either grows when surrounded by oxygen or suffocates when trapped in stale air. And most people are stuck not because they lack talent or vision, but because they are anchored to environments that no longer support their evolution. Look around you. What kind of conversations are you having every day? Are you discussing goals, ideas, solutions? Or are you stuck in loops of gossip, fear, and comfort? Growth requires friction. It requires you to be around people who challenge your thoughts, push your limits, and reflect a higher version of yourself back to you. It's uncomfortable, it's confronting, but it's necessary. Comfort zones aren't just about habits, they're about people. Some of your relationships were built on an older version of you, and the moment you start evolving, those connections will resist. You'll be called distant, arrogant, different. But that's the price of growth. You will outgrow people who were never meant to join you in the next chapter. Don't cling to comfort just to avoid loneliness. Loneliness is temporary. Staying stuck is permanent. And no amount of false friendship is worth the death of your potential. The Stoics believe that your character is the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your circle doesn't challenge you, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. And that cage will keep you small, even if it feels safe. Surround yourself with builders, with readers, with creators, with people who are obsessed with their own growth and therefore naturally support yours. Spend time with those who hold you accountable when you make excuses and who don't let you stay quiet when your voice needs to be heard. These people aren't always easy to be around, but they are the ones who stretch you. They reflect your blind spots. They ask you the hard questions, and in their presence, you rise. You don't need a large circle. You need a true one. Even a single powerful influence can change your trajectory. And if you can't find that circle, become it. Be the disciplined one, the one who leads by action, not noise, and trust that over time, you'll attract those who match your frequency. Buddhism reminds us that we are mirrors to one another. The people you attract reflect the level of consciousness you operate from. If your life is filled with chaos, it may be time to clean the mirror. Not by blaming others, but by raising your own standard. The universe responds to clarity. When you no longer entertain what drains you, you make space for what grows you. Walk away from circles that feed your ego, but starve your soul. Be willing to feel alone while you rebuild. Be willing to be misunderstood while you level up. Not everyone will understand your vision, and they're not supposed to. Your path is sacred. Protect it, feed it, surround it with growth. Your environment should sharpen your mind, not soften your will. Every room you walk into is either watering your potential or drying it out. Choose wisely. The longer you stay around people who don't grow, the more they'll convince you that growth is selfish. It's not. It's necessary. Because if you want to become someone you've never been, you must surround yourself with people and energy that reflect where you're going, not where you've been. 10. Be relentless but patient. There is a rare kind of power in the person who can move forward with fierce intensity while waiting calmly for the results to come. The world glorifies speed, quick money, instant success, fast transformation. But real growth, the kind that changes your character, rewires your thinking, and rebuilds your life from the ground up, does not happen overnight. It requires patience, not passive waiting, but active, grounded persistence. Buddhism teaches us that attachment to results is the root of suffering. When you chase the outcome with desperation, you lose the value of the journey. When you obsess over timelines, you create pressure where there should be peace. But patience is not laziness. It is not passivity. It is deep, unwavering trust in the process. You must learn to work like a warrior, with intensity, precision, and focus, and wait like a sage, without anxiety or rush. This balance is where true power lives. You must be relentless in your efforts, but not in a way that burns you out. Your daily habits, your inner discipline, your mindset, these must be fierce. Show up every day, even when it's boring, even when no one claps, even when nothing seems to be happening. Especially then, because the most important changes happen in silence. Your body is changing, your discipline is taking root, your energy is evolving. But all of this is invisible until one day it's undeniable. The bamboo plant grows underground for years before it ever breaks the surface. But when it does, it rises rapidly, because the foundation was being built where no one could see. Your life works the same way. And if you quit during the invisible seasons, you'll never see the harvest. The Stoics believed in enduring effort, the idea that virtue is built not in moments of glory, but in the hours of repetition and resistance. When you keep doing the right thing without immediate reward, you build an internal fire that cannot be extinguished. That fire is called resilience. You begin to rise with purpose, not panic. You no longer fear slow progress because you understand that forward is forward. You stop comparing your timeline to others. You stop begging life for validation. You just show up, again and again and again. That is where greatness is born. And yet, it's easy to grow impatient when results are slow. Your mind will scream, "It's not working." But patience whispers, "Keep going." Something is happening that you can't see yet. Every action you take, every workout, every journal entry, every focused hour, every choice to not give up is casting a vote for the future version of you. And those votes add up. You don't become powerful by doing it once. You become powerful by doing it daily. Buddhism reminds us that a flower does not bloom because it is forced. It blooms because the environment, the roots, the timing, all align. Your job is not to force the result. Your job is to show up in full alignment with your values and let nature take its course. Be relentless with your habits, your standards, your discipline. Never stop refining, never stop adjusting, never stop becoming, but also be patient with your journey. Let it unfold without panic. Let the silence teach you. Let the waiting mature you. You are not behind. You are in training. And one day, everything that felt invisible will become undeniable. The world will call it sudden, but you will know it was the result of every quiet day you didn't quit. Be relentless in your action. Be patient in your faith. That combination makes you unbreakable. Conclusion. Improving yourself every single day is not about perfection. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you truly are, with more clarity, more discipline, and more peace. The 10 lessons you've just heard aren't motivational quotes. They're a lifestyle, a mindset, a system for becoming mentally stronger, emotionally grounded, and spiritually aligned. The world is full of noise, shortcuts, and shallow hacks promising instant change. But lasting transformation doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice, and that choice must be made daily. Every morning you wake up is another opportunity to win. Every moment you feel resistance is a doorway to growth. Every habit you master, every toxic thing you release, every fear you face, every promise you keep. These are the bricks that build an unstoppable version of you. There will be days when you don't feel like it, days when no one sees your effort, days when the old version of you whispers, just settle. But you must remember this: consistency beats intensity, alignment beats applause. And becoming better, even by just 1%, every single day, compounds into a life that no one can take from you. So protect your energy, master your morning, build in silence, move with purpose, and never ever negotiate with your potential. The future isn't built by the lucky. It's built by the intentional. Start today, start now, and become the kind of person who doesn't just change goals, but changes their life.